What up, Naughty Steppers? It's Connor Whitmore here again with another review for you on the Nawtystep channel, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the new single from Mastadon released on Never Say Die Records, Death Pit. You know me guys, I love an introduction, but really, what more is there to say about Mastadon at this point? Hamish Prasad, the 17-year-old lad who has taken the dubstep scene by storm over the last couple of years, elevating our understanding of bass brutality to new heights with his mighty, unforgiving, tear-out approach. Producer of 2 EPs for the Never Say Die label so far, the latest of those, Decimate, being up there with the best that dubstep has had to offer this year. And now, a couple of collaborations and remixes later, we have his first solo single since Decimate was released, Death Pit. This is a very interesting track, and one that I would even go as far as to say is important for Prasad generally. Because I myself, amongst others I think, wondered how indeed he would progress his sound over time, and change from his usual style. And to me, Death Pit is evidence of the youngster trying new things with his aesthetic and venturing beyond his norm. The usual style I allude to being that very spacious, gargantuan, almost eerie tear-out delivery. But here we get a much more alert and punchier version of Mastadon, an energy I'm not sure we've seen before with him. The introduction here very much embodies that feeling, a sort of acid rave throwback channeling the likes of The Prodigy. The atmospheric aspect of his sound is still there, but generally it's so unusually in your face from him that that's what takes your attention most. That's before the vocal sample, which comes out of nowhere and again adheres to that rave-like attitude. The build is thick and saturated, short-lived with that top layer of synths getting increasingly sinewy. And at this point, you're left wondering what direction the track will take, considering how adrenaline-fueled the introduction is. I would say that the moment just before the drops is probably my least favourite thing about this track. Both times it cuts off slightly too early, and there's something about the whispered vocal sample that is a bit off for me. Could have done with being a bit grislier perhaps, but the drops remind us of the best of Mastadon with some classically savage dubstep. Another riveting mix of the prehistoric and modern with this clash of dinosaur sounds and outright industrial stuff. The metallic jabs, the squeals over the top, so grungy, a mind-frying mix of sounds but so very good. Leading me to wonder whether it's RIDDIM or Tear Out that we're listening to here. I mean, the sounds used suggest the latter, as they're the ones that he normally deploys, but the structure leans more towards RIDDIM, little bit more of a bounce to the percussion. Could just be my ears though. It could also even be a hybrid of the two. Either way, the disrupted presentation is there again from him, yet it has a more noticeable flow. That's the best way I can put it. The progression is even more emphatic with more sounds hitting you, interspersed with these descending lasery moments. Again, it's dizzying, but it's just so Mastadon that, no matter how disorientating it may be, you come to love it. And from that point onwards, we effectively get a repetition of what's happened before the desolation is revealed at the track's end. Interestingly though, even though I'm pretty sure the dubstep the second time around is a near exact replica, because of the overall force of it, it feels like changes have been made on the second release. That's how impactful it is. I'd also like to give a shout out to all of the breaks and moments of contrast in this track. All of the snippets in the drops, and particularly the moments before the progressions, the timing of all of this really is brilliant and not to be ignored. It's made me realise that that's what makes Mastadon's music what it is, epic and large with that real sense of body and presence. The main sounds will always create the hugeness, but it's those bits in between that just widen that scope to new levels. But generally here we do get a more full of life Mastadon, showing he's developing his sound and trying out new things. A track that could have been longer, but then again I think it has the impact it has because of its short runtime. Like packing a lot into a small space and then letting it explode, this tune runs very close to that description, I would say. It's just another belting number from him. He set this ridiculous standard now. The expected for him is very, very good. This isn't as remorseless as previous stuff of his, but I think that's expected considering he's branched out a little here, the introduction in particular. And it prompts the question once more as to just where he goes from here. Will he experiment with different genres or push the tear-out aesthetic in new directions? It remains to be seen, but it is very interesting. After all, he's got so much time ahead of him considering his age. There's so much possibility for development and evolution. Not saying he has to do so, but I'm not gonna lie, it is exciting to think of where he could take those sounds that are so particular to him now. Thinking about a bass house Mastadon track or a heavy trap one, I mean, who knows? And also, lastly, these new Never Say Die artworks, liking them, very classy and slick, well presented and no fucking around, very decent. And so that is that, guys, for my views on the new Mastadon track released on Never Say Die Records, Death Pit. Thank you very much for tuning in, I hope you enjoyed. What did you guys make of Death Pit? Does this represent a new direction for Mastadon or not? Does it leave you excited for what he's got coming next? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this review, then be sure to give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hitting the notification bell along the way. For some other dubstep reviews on the channel, check out the link next to my head somewhere. Don't forget to like and follow Nawtystep across social media if you haven't already, all of which is linked in the description box down below. And lastly, if it's naughty, then you know guys, so be sure as always to keep it naughty and stay safe. And I shall see all of you legends in the next one. Peace out.